Hello and welcome. We're just waiting for a few more students to join in and we'll get started. If you can kindly stop drawing on the PowerPoint, that'd be great. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome everyone to the 2023-2024 school year. I just wanted to kind of go over some housekeeping rules. There's myself, Annette Gauna, training manager, and then we also have Misty Oberbeck, apprenticeship coordinator, and we have Holly Andrews, our operations manager. So they will be facilitating with me today. And how this will work is everyone is placed on mute and you cannot unmute. There is about 1,000 students online and well, about 800 right now, and we're still admitting more. So unfortunately, we can't have microphones enabled for you. So if you do have questions, we do ask that you chat those questions to Holly or Misty as they will be taking those questions. Please note that we'll go over a lot of policies here, but we won't go over everything. And we do recommend that you look through our student handbook, which you've already been sent multiple times in emails. So if you do have any questions that maybe we didn't answer, please go ahead and check there. And then we will have question portions of our in our PowerPoint that to go over those questions that you're sending to Misty or Holly that I may have not addressed for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Misty, Holly, you ready? Okay. Yes, we are. All right, next slide then. So this is what I just went over. The moderators will answer any questions, but anything that's not answered, we'll do that in our question portion. So what is IECRM? You are all new to our organization and we are a membership trade association. We serve members of the electrical and energy industries consisting of contractors, industry partners, and support the needs and initiative of the industry. We are a local chapter of a national organization and we serve the Denver Metro, Northern Colorado, and Wyoming. We were started in 1981 and there are several other chapters, I believe 52 in the United States. So if you do end up moving, you will, you guys, if you can't see the PowerPoint and you're on your phone, you need to swipe. And if you can't hear, it's an issue on your end and you may need to come back in and rejoin. So if you're moving to another state, check to see if there's another IEC or IEC chapter for you so that you can transfer to. We are the largest training chapter. We train over 2,200 students a school year. So we are the largest in the nation, just covering this small area of northern Colorado, Denver, and Wyoming. This is our staff. So if you came to pick up books this week, you met a lot of our team. To the right is our CEO, CFO, Marilyn and Corey, our HR, Elena Keener, marketing manager, Katie, John Cheslock is our admin specialist, Grant communications coordinator, Lexi event coordinator. On the right-hand side of the screen, that is your training team. So Paul Lingo is our training director, Misty Overbeck, apprenticeship education coordinator, Jordan Rankin, workforce development and education coordinator. Terry Reynolds is our compliance manager, and Mike Davis is our compliance coordinator. So running an organization this big, we only have 14 staff members, so it is quite a job. Next slide. Oop, can you go back one? Sorry, next slide. It looked like you skipped one. So these are our campuses. So the main campus where you picked up your books is in North Glen. This is where we all do the work behind the scenes. The IECRM North Campus is up in Fort Collins. That is a classroom facility only. We do not have any staff up there. And then we have our IECRM South location that is in the Arapahoe Community College. This is off of the Santa Fe Drive in Littleton. Thanks, Holly. So this is just some requirements we want to make sure you're aware of. To obtain your residential wireman license, you do need 4,000 on-the-job training hours, and there's not a school requirement to get that license. For your journeyman license, there's an 8,000 hour OJT requirement with a 288 classroom hour requirement in order to get your journeyman's license through DORA. If you are registered with the Department of Labor or the Office of Apprenticeship, you would need to have a 576 classroom hour requirement. The difference between those two is it's 2 years that DORA requires for your license and 4 years that the federal government requires if you're enrolled in the Department of Labor. To note that we are a 4-year program. We are not a 2-year program. If you opt to take the 288 classroom hours only, you are only taking 2 years of our program, and you are not considered a graduate of our program. You do have to complete the full 576 classroom hours or 4 years to be considered a graduate of our program. And once you obtain your journeyman's license, you will be eligible for your master's license. What you need for that is an additional 2,000 hours of planning and layout to get your master's license. You can find more information on that on the Department of Regulatory Agencies website. Next slide. On this slide, this is how our program works, and we kind of broke it down. 4 years is 8 semesters, 576 classroom hours. Each year has 2 semesters, so what you've registered for is just the first semester of the program. You will have another registration coming up in November for your second semester that begins in January. So each semester is 18 weeks long, giving you 72 classroom hours, totaling the 144 classroom hours per year. Each class will attend 1 night a week, Monday through Thursday, from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. So it's 4 hours. This is with an exception of fast track. I know we probably have some fast track students on here. You will do the 5:30 to 9:30 2 nights a week because you are fast tracking it for those 288 classroom hours. Next slide. And here, look, fast track, here you go. So those that have a 6,000 hours plus and are ready to test in the next year, we do recommend the fast track program. So it is 2 nights a week. This schedule is Monday and Thursday from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. You will take the first year curriculum in the first semester and the second year curriculum in the second semester. So I know that some folks may have wanted to get in this program, but unfortunately we are full and not accepting any more registrations for this program this school year. Next slide. So IECRM partners with Emily Griffith Technical College, and you guys all filled out an application with Emily Griffith Technical College before receiving your books. So they do offer at the end of our 4-year program some college credit for you. And at this time, you may not want to go to college, but in the future, you don't know what that brings, and you do have the option of receiving these credits. You will get up to 44 credit hours towards an associate's degree of applied science from a community college of Colorado. You will also get up to 53 credit hours for a bachelor's degree to be used at CSU Global and now Metropolitan State University. Metropolitan State University is brand new this year, so you are the first to know about that. Again, this is upon completion of the 4-year program. IEC National also offers ACE credits to give you towards any degree in any school that you like to use, and all that information can be found on our national website, ieci.org. Fast track students do not qualify for the college credit if they only complete the 2 years. Again, it's upon completion of the full 4-year program. Next slide. So this is just a breakdown of our apprenticeship program in each year. So first year students, electron theory, math, Ohm's law, residential applications, and code enforcement. Second year apprenticeship focus is print reading, AC theory, math, Ohm's law, commercial applications, and code enforcement. Third year apprentice focus, grounding and bonding, and analog motor control. And fourth year apprenticeship focus is going to be a digital motor control and NEC code. So just so you know, the last semester of 4th year is strictly code to help prepare you for your journeyman's license. And we also offer tutoring for our 1st and 2nd year. We need to confirm our 3rd year, but we did have 3rd year at the end of our semester. So we do try to have tutoring for every school year that we can. It is free. And here's the tentative schedule: Sunday nights 5:30 to 7:30, and 2nd year tutoring is Sunday nights from 6 to 8. You do not have to attend this, but it's here for you. And if the schedule changes, we'll let you know. So we do recommend all students try to take this if you're struggling with the curriculum. We will also offer a math course as you get into that hard math, and that is also free. So please look out for our emails on that. Next slide. So we're going to take a few moments here to put some questions in the chat. I know I went through that very fast, but it's Friday, it's after 5, and I'd like to not keep you more than an hour. So if there's any questions that you may have, I just wanted to address text messaging. We do text message from time to time, and you do have to opt in to get our text messages. So if you haven't opted in yet, you can text IECRM to 38009 to receive our text messages. A lot of our communication does go to you guys through email, so it's really important to be on top of your email and make sure that studenthelp@iecrm.org is a favorite in your email, as that's where all our communications will come from. Misty, Holly, was there any questions out there?
Annette, I'm just wondering if all of the people online are able to see the slideshow. I had a comment that it was not moving. Can most people see it?
Just know I will send out this orientation and the slideshow next week. for you to have as well.
It looks like most people are seeing it, so we're good to go on that end.
Good.
We did have a question about fast tracking it. Logan is wanting to know, how does it work since he'll be doing his first 2 years is in 1 year? Will he be considered a graduate since he'll be doing the third and fourth in 2 other years? Since it's not a 4-year program for him, will he still be considered a graduate?
Yes, as long as you complete the 4th year of the program, if you did it in 3 years and you complete the 4th year, you would still be considered a graduate. It's the 576 classroom hours that makes you the graduate.
Annette, we got a request to go back to the credit slide, the credit hour slide.
Absolutely. Holly, can you do that for me?
I can. And there's a question, one more question about fast track before you move back to that. Is it possible to fast track it after doing the first year?
No. Fast track is only 1st and 2nd year curriculum, and if you wanted to do the 3rd and 4th, you'd have to take that with the regular apprenticeship. Was there a specific question on the college credit?
I did not get a follow-up question.
Okay. So you will request transcripts through Emily Griffith Technical College for your college transcript, for your college credits. IECRM does not give you the college credits, so you would definitely have to go through them. You will receive a copy of those transcripts upon graduation, but any official transcripts, if you are wanting to transfer these, will have to come from Emily Griffith Technical College.
Annette, can you answer if they want to join tutoring at any point, how do they go about joining?
Ah, what a great question. I didn't go over that. We will send all that communication to you once it's open. We'll confirm with our tutors, make sure they're ready to go. This won't happen until a few weeks into the semester at the very minimum, maybe even a little bit more before you kind of get into that in-depth curriculum. But we will send all that communication. There will be a link on your classroom management system. So we'll try to make it available as much as possible and for you, so you can find it anywhere you look. And it will be held on Zoom. It will not be held on your classroom management system. Are there any other questions?
The tutoring, we're getting a couple questions about if it's offered online.
Yes, only through Zoom.
And we're
Annette, I've had a few questions about what do you do if you missed picking up your books?
Great question. Was there any more on tutoring, Misty?
there was one, I'm getting a couple more questions about how online classes are conducted, if it's through Zoom.
We will know it's not, and we will get through to that and later in our PowerPoint. And just for those, for the book question, for those that missed book pickup this week, you can come to the North Glen office. Our business hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you can come pick up your books anytime during that time. We do not recommend you show up at 5:30 at your class time to pick up your books. We will not have staff available to assist you. So if you still need your books prior to the night of your class, please, we ask that you're here no later than 4:30. And again, paperwork will need to be complete before books are released. Any other questions? We'll have 2 more question rounds. So if things come up, please know that you'll have other opportunities.
Annette, one more question that came in. Is there a fast track summer course?
No, there is not.
But we will be offering a fast track in the spring?
In January for new students. So no one on this call will qualify for that.
Okay.
All right, Holly, if you want to go to the next slide. All right. So you all should be familiar with Flashpoint. We had you do your enrollment agreement on there. I hope you took a peek around. This is your database. This is where all the magic happens. This is how you get registered. Your contractors will do the registration for you on Flashpoint. Your contractors also can look at your classes, grades, attendance, and approve your on-the-job training work reports. What you do in here is you can see your assignments, your quizzes, tests, homeworks, your grades in here, your attendance, and you will also enter your work reports in Flashpoint. Emails will be, as the school year gets going, we will send you emails on how to take care of all that, but we do have links to instructions if you're just eager to get to it. On the menu side, which is on the left side of the page, does have links to, how to look at your grades, how to enter your work reports. So we try to make it as easy as possible. You just kind of have to read through the information that we have. Flashpoint does house your official grade record. So when you are in your classroom management system, which you will have access to before your class, and you can see your grades in there as well, we always like to remind you that your official grade record is in Flashpoint. So we do not go off of the classroom management system as your official grade record. All right, next slide. The classroom management system. So this is how you all will get into your class next week. Even if you're in person or online, everyone will use this system. And it is through our partners, American Tech Publishers. They own the website, and we use it for them. So we will use it with them, sorry. We will send you login emails at least 24 hours prior to the night of class. So if you have class on Monday, you will have your email on Sunday. And then Tuesday, you will get your email on Monday. So you will not have access to that any earlier. We do ask that you log in when you have before class, not at 5 p.m. before class. When you receive that email, take a moment to log in and make sure everything is good. If you're having any login issues, it's easier to help you in advance rather than right before class. As our partners, ATP, are based in Chicago, and if there is any support needs, they are gone by the time you're in class. So again, we do recommend that you log in as soon as you get the email 24 hours prior to your class. We will, your username will be your email that we have on file in Flashpoint, and your password will be normally your first name and last name, no spaces, no capital letters. There is some, if you have an extension on your name, like Junior or something like that, that can affect your login. And so sometimes logging into Flashpoint to see how we have your name listed can help you log in to the CMS. So if I was Annette Gauna Jr., I would type my name ANNETTEGAUNAJR as my password, just as an example. But that will all be explained in an email. So please take a moment when you receive that to read all the way through before contacting support. Next slide. And this is just a peek of what the classroom management system, or CMS, would look like to you. You will have your instructor contact info, which is just an email. We allow the instructors to give any further contact info. That's up to them to do. So the office staff here will only give out the instructor email once you're placed in the class. And then you can email them directly. If you're looking for a phone number and you call us, we will not give you that. We will only give out emails. If your instructor has given that out, we ask that you write it down because we won't re-give that out. And then we also have links to Flashpoint. As you can see, there's a link to how to submit OJT work reports right directly under that. You can access your makeup classes if you have an absence through here. You can access the handbook. The syllabus can also be accessed on the CMS. So we try to give you links everywhere we can think of so that you are able to answer any questions you may have before contacting support. So makeup classes coming soon. I'm going to talk about our attendance policy, but at this time, the makeup classes are still being built, and you won't get an email on that until September. So that's why it says coming soon. Next slide. The big blue button. So this is how our online classes will join virtually. We do not use Zoom for our online classes. We do use something called the big blue button. And honestly, it's not very big. It's really small. So as you can see on the picture on the left-hand side, it's just going to be right above, or excuse me, right below the lesson title. And it's just this little blue button. You'll click on that link and it'll say join session. So you're going to move over to the right-hand side picture and it says join session, and you'll have a screen that looks similar to Zoom. You do not have to have your camera on. Your instructor will present his material, his PowerPoints and everything on that big blue button screen. And it'll have a chat similar to Zoom. Next slide. For online students, the requirements are the same, or similar to our in-class students. You must be present and engaged during class. Well, that seems very obvious to all of us, but we've had instances where students were working a second job and listening to class on their phone online. That is not being present and engaged. We don't want you driving across to state lines or something because you are on vacation listening to the class. Present and engaged means you are in front of your computer or laptop listening to the presentation by the instructor and able to work on your quizzes and homework at that moment in time. So we do ask that you have a tablet or a laptop, although you can access the classroom management system on your phone. You are a more successful student if you have either a tablet or a laptop device. So again, that's where the no phones comes in. We really want you to be successful, and using a little iPhone or Samsung phone to do your homework is not going to make you successful in the classroom. As for a camera, we do use cameras in the online setting for testing purposes. So you are required to have a camera. Next slide. All right, next we're going to kind of hit some hot topics in the student handbook, which I'll expect you to read by the time Monday comes around. So I mentioned that this handbook can be found near the top of your CMS. There will also be a link on our website, on Flashpoint. So no matter where you look, I promise there will be a link to our student handbook. So we know this industry, students may become employed while being in school, and we want you to stay in school. If you become unemployed at any time, please let us know. We can place your name on our hire list and get you out to another IEC contractor member and ask how you can remain in school. Your contractors who paid for you, unfortunately, can ask for a partial refund up until, I believe, week 9 or 13. And when that happens, you are deactivated, but we ask you to continue with school and ask how you can remain in school. A lot of times just paying a small fee will allow you to remain in school. So please be proactive if something like that happens so that we can get you back out there with an employer and make sure that there's no interruption in your school. The grading structure. So our assignments are weighted. So our homework is 33% of your grade. So it's very important that you are doing your homework. Just because you can pass the final exam doesn't mean you'll pass our semester. So homework is 33% of your grade. You do get 2 attempts on each homework assignment. So just know that everyone has 2 attempts on homework assignments. Your quizzes are 33% of the grade as well. We do let our instructors know that you do have to have at least 8 quizzes per semester. And that will be 33% of your grade as well. You will get 2 exams per semester, the midterm and the final, and those are going to be 34% of your grade. So the final exam is the only exam we require you to have a 70 or better. So you do have to pass the semester with a 70 or better and pass the final exam with a 70 or better. Next slide. All right, we're going to pause for a moment for any questions that may have come through chat that I didn't address, or you'd like me to go in further detail.
Annette, would you address if they take an exam or a midterm, do we take the best score if they have to retake? Meaning if you attempt twice, do you go with the best
Okay,
score?
so actually we're going to cover that in the next slide about attempts. But for the homework with 2 attempts, you get the highest score. For the midterm exam, you don't have to have a 70 or better, so it's whatever you score. So if that wasn't your day and you got a 64%, that is your score. For the final exam, if you don't achieve that 70%, we do allow a retake to get you to that 70%. And I'll go over final exam and midterm exam. I know we're going into that next. So are there any other questions?
If you do not meet all OJT requirements for the semester, can you continue to the next semester?
We're going to go over OJT requirements in just a bit, but no. You will not be able to continue to the next semester.
And I'm sorry, I am paying attention to all the questions on the chat. Did we go over the in-person and online option for those who cannot attend their in-person class?
That is coming up next. So I'd like to kind of hold off on attendance policy, final exam policy, OJT policy. Those are all next. Are there any other questions regarding the Big Blue Button, classroom management system?
We are getting questions about transferring over to a different, a lot of questions about transferring to a different location.
I'll address that here. So unfortunately, I'm so sorry. The schedule you have is your schedule. This year has been very busy with more registrations than we ever had, which is a good problem to have. But unfortunately, a lot of all of our locations and things are full and schedules are set. And so unfortunately, at this time, we're just not taking any more requests for movement.
We have one apprentice that wants to know what should they bring for their first day of class?
That's a great question. I would bring your books, a notebook, pen, paper, and your device, because the classroom management system will also be something you will use as in an in-person class. So all your homework, quizzes, and exams will be done on that classroom management system, even though you are sitting in our building taking class in person.
Would you recommend the in-person students have a laptop or tablet with them for in-person classes?
Maybe not necessary. Yes, I would recommend that. However, if you know, a lot of times you're not doing your homework in class or anything like that, so if you have a computer at home and don't want to lug it back and forth, I think that's okay. And you can use your phone device, but for optimal results in this environment, I think you should have a laptop and a tablet. I'm not asking anyone to go out and run and buy one today. But I think you'll see you'll be a better student if you do have one.
Annette, you may be addressing this later, but just in case, will there be labs for online students?
I'm not addressing that later, so it's good that they asked that. So labs, our in-person students do have labs. We have a lab at our Fort Collins location and our North Glen location, and we have mobile labs at our AC or our South location. Online students will not have in-person labs. Our instructors do incorporate some online labs, and you'll have that. They're really good at doing that, especially in the 3rd and 4th year where labs get a little more in depth with the motor controls. We will offer, I believe, a conduit bending lab on a Saturday, and we'll put some emails out on that when that will be, and you can come if you'd like. But it is on your own time. It's nothing that that would be during class time. It would be something that would be outside of class time if we do offer those like conduit bending labs and knot tying labs and things like that.
And I'm getting a lot of questions about books and book shipment. Can we address that one more time about who is qualified for book shipment and where to go to request that?
Absolutely. So if you have not picked up your books yet, you can pick them up at the North Glen location, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, that's our hours, and classes start at 5:30. So we do ask that you're here no later than 4:30 p.m. to pick up your books so that we can check your paperwork and get you to your classroom on time. If you are requesting shipping, we will have that open for just one more week, but you do have to be 40 miles away from the North Glen location. We will deny your request if you are not 40 miles away from the North Glen location. You can find the shipping form in the email that you were sent about book pickup. If you refer back to your emails, and go to book pickup at the bottom, that's why it says please read all the way through, because at the bottom there is a shipping information. It's highlighted in turquoise, and there's a form that you must fill out. Again, all forms must be complete. Shipping charges will apply, which are roughly $25 to $30, and you will have to pay before those books will be shipped. Did I answer all that, Misty?
Yes, and I just want to reiterate, if you are requesting shipping and that shipment is within 40 miles of the North Glen main campus, that shipment will be canceled and you will receive an email advising you that you will need to come in and pick up the books at the North Glen main campus. But that's it.
Okay, we are limited. As you see, we only have 14 people and a small training department. And so you guys that didn't pick up books will all show up at the same exact time to pick up your books. And we're limited staff during that time. So that's why we ask that you give yourself ample time prior to class to pick up books, because we want everyone in their seats at 5:30.
Annette, you already addressed the online classes. If there is a student who does not currently have a tablet or access to a computer, the question is, will they be kicked out of class if they can't get that right away?
No, you won't be kicked out of class as long as you're on a device that you're able to take the course. We just don't recommend phones. That's just not the way you should be taking an online course, is through your phone. And we also do not recommend that you're sharing computers with another student. You need to log in to your own device each night and not share with other students. That's very important, because you cannot be logged in to 2 different accounts taking class on one device. And so if you do have any issues, I do recommend in contacting your contractor. A lot of times they'll allow you to use their computers in the office if that's an issue. You know, they want you to have a great education and they don't want you skimping out on anything. So if you are having trouble finding a device or good internet, you know, please talk to your instructor. Internet is key on an online course. So we do recommend you be hardwired and not Wi-Fi, but you know, in these days, everything's Wi-Fi. That's all I have at home is Wi-Fi. So, but if you get kicked out of class because your Wi-Fi, you know, poops out, then, you know, that's not on us. That's totally on you, and you can get marked absent. So please just make sure you have a stable Wi-Fi or stable internet connection as well. All right, well, if there are no other questions on this section, we'll just keep going. We'll have one more questions section before we end this orientation. We have 15 more minutes, so no, everybody's ready to get their Friday going. So we'll try to wrap this up on time. Holly,
I got one last question really quickly.
Mhm.
I've had a few questions on, will they need code books?
Great question. Man, you guys are asking such good questions. Yes, everyone is required to have a 2023 code book. Our book kits do not come with 2023 code books. That is a separate purchase. So if you do not have your 2023 code book yet, you'll need to get that. Our curriculum does reference that for each year. So we do have them for sale here if you're interested. It's like $115 for members and $120 for non-members plus tax. So you can always purchase them from us. We also have tabs available. They should be coming in the next week.
And I just do want to say one thing. We're working very hard on answering all of your questions. Please just give us a couple of minutes to get to you. I have lots of questions in my queue, and please don't repeat that question and send it over and over again, because that does clog up my chat. But I am working on the questions and I'm getting to as soon as possible. But I think that's it for the questions. I think we can move on to our next slide.
Thank you, Misty. Yes, you guys are doing awesome. Thank you, Holly and Misty, for staying with me late tonight to help take on those questions. As a reminder, we have over 800 students on here, so it is a lot for 3 of us. So appreciate your patience. All right, so now we're back to our hot topics in the student handbook. So this is the attendance policy. So our attendance policy does state that we recommend you only miss 3 classes per school year. That is not per semester, that is per school year. If you happen to miss 4, we're not going to kick you out. All absences have to be made up within the semester that they are missed in. So if you missed all 3 of your absences in the first semester, then you must make all 3 of those up in the first semester before you can move on. If you happen to miss 2 in the second semester, so that's giving you a total of 5 of the school year, we're not going to kick you out. You just must make those up. Each absence is going to cost you $40, so it's not cheap. So making up those classes, we don't want you to take that lightly. Know that you will have to pay $40 per absence and achieve a 70% or better on the assignment that you are given in order to get credit for those makeup hours. So the attendance policy for in-person students is a little different than our online. You are required to be in person if you're in an in-person class. Northland, South Location, and Fort Collins are all in-person classes. We understand that things happen and you may be sick or you may be working out of town or an emergency, and things do happen. You are allowed to take your in-person class through the Big Blue Button, which I had showed you earlier for our online students. It will be the same for you in-person students. You would click that Big Blue Button link and attend remotely for that week. However, you will not be given full 4 credit hours for that class. So if you're in person, you get 4 classroom hours for each class you attend. If you attend online as an in-person, you will only receive 2. So if you take online classes as an in-person student and you miss more than 1, that will equal 1 absence because you're not getting the full credit. So I hope that makes sense. Again, if in-person students attending online will only get half credit. 2 half credits will equal a whole, meaning an absence will occur on your record and then you will need to make that up. We will forgive 1 half credit per semester. So if you did use 1 and you are only short 2 classroom hours to complete the semester, that will be forgiven. But if you have more than 1, that is now makeup classes. If this were to become excessive and the instructor or any of our audits would bring this to our attention, we would then contact your employer and you may transfer to online upon employer notification and approval. Just note, all exams for in-person students must be taken in person. We will not allow exams or quizzes to be taken online. So that if you did attend an online course, an online course, and there was a quiz that night, you would have to reschedule that with your instructor. Next slide. Our OJT or work report policy. So all students are required to turn in work reports while being enrolled with IECRM. In order to pass from one semester or the next, you have to have a minimum turned in, which for this semester, beginning in August, you will have to have August through December hours turned in order to be successful in your apprenticeship for this semester and move on to the second semester. And I will send emails out on this, reminding you of this requirement. So even if you're a journeyman or you already hold an RW license, or every single student must turn in on the job training hours in Flashpoint. Contractors will then approve the submitted hours. So you will go in, submit your hours, the contractor is notified, and the contractor will then approve the hours in the system. If you are a student that's not directly working in the field and may be doing something in the office, project manager, something like that, on the job training hours can be in an industry related column that we'll have. If you're not working in the field or in the industry just yet, you still must submit work reports. If you're not accruing any on the job training hours, you would just put the work report to 0 and with the note in the comments field, stating that you're not employed or whatever the case may be. IECRM staff will be doing audits regularly, and you will have time in class to do these on the job training hours in Flashpoint. So there should be no reason why we're waiting until December to turn in 4 months of hours. If you do not record your hours by the time grades are final, your semester will be marked incomplete and you will be unable to move on until that is done. Even if you're at a passing grade with attendance and your exam and your semester overall grade, you will still be marked incomplete. Next slide. Exam procedures. So just this year, we updated our exam procedures. And so 1 attempt is allowed on the midterm exam, which I've already discussed, but 2 attempts are allowed on the final exam. That has always been the case, but the change this year that the average score on the 2 attempts will be added to the grade book. Unlike homework, where you have 2 attempts and the highest score is added to the grade book, on the final exam, it will be the average score is added to the grade book. So again, 2 attempts on the final exam with the average score going to the grade book. If that average score is below a 70, you will be allowed 1 retake option to get that to passing so that you are able to pass your semester. Next slide. All right, we're at our last chat session of questions. So this is it. Again, we're at 9 minutes to the end of our orientation. So I hope it was great and I hope you guys got a lot out of it. I do recommend going to your handbook, but I will take any last questions. So Holly and Misty, take it away.
This is a great question. You were the right person for it, Annette. If someone who is in the Army National Guard or other military branch, if they have to miss a few classes due to obligations with their service,
Yes.
And they have the supporting orders, would they still have to pay fees for absences?
No. So if you're have obligations like that, if you have share those with student help at iecrm.org, we will waive those fees for your makeup classes. The makeup classes still must be done. You still need to have your 72 classroom hours, but the fees will be waived. And that does go in line with things like doctor's notes, you know, if you were injured on the job and went to urgent care and things like that. If you supply doctor's notes for you, not for a family member, for yourself, we will waive those fees if it was during the time of your class.
There's a request for you to go over the in-class remake, loss in hours and how they're able to make up their absences or tardies.
So I'm sorry, go over the whole policy again.
Yeah, if you can cover how they make up their lost hours.
So we
and
haven't covered that
hours.
because that has not been made in our system yet, and we will send in communications on that. So most of our classes are done as a 100-question quiz that you have to get a 70% or better on. We've switched systems, and so we have not made that yet. So those won't even be available until September, and we'll have detailed instructions on that. We also offer other makeup opportunities throughout the school year that we'll send communications on. A big one is the final exam review at the end of the semester. We do offer that via Zoom that you can attend for makeup class credit, or if you just want to attend it and not get makeup class credit because you don't have any absences, it's for every student to have that final exam review. So we do offer many opportunities for you to make up the class, but the main opportunity would be the 100-question quiz. And again, we're still working on getting that together in our system.
And regarding the code book, you've already addressed this, but the question came in again about whether or not it is something you can purchase at IECRM, and what is the difference between the one offered at IECRM and those available on Amazon or other third-party vendors?
So we do offer code books for sale. We have plenty here. So if you are interested, again, $115 to $120, depending on your status of member, non-member with your company. And that's plus tax. You can get that anytime. And we also offer tabs. It is required for your curriculum. So if you don't have one, you do need to get one. If you decide to go to a third party like Amazon, please beware. A lot of those cheaper code books are copywritten, and they're a lot thicker than the code books. Their printing is not good. It's not the same quality as the ones that we purchase directly from the NFPA.
Annette, if a student already has OJT a few months before classes begin, should they still record those in Flashpoint?
It wouldn't hurt. Even though we're only requiring you to do certain hours for the semester, you should be doing your entire apprenticeship in hours with us. it does not hurt. Although our hours are not being submitted directly to the state of Colorado, when you're ready to test, you're going to take affidavits of experience from your employers that you've had in your 4 years, and you're going to submit those hours for your license. But it doesn't hurt to have all your hours on record with us as well. Again, to pass from one semester to the next, I'm going to require a certain amount, but it doesn't hurt to just do your hours monthly, just to be in a system, in a rhythm of getting those in there on a monthly basis. Now, if you want to do your few months that you started with the employee, and that's fine, but you know, some people, you may have been there, you're with your company a year. I am not recommending you go back in a year and do all that. If you just want to start August moving forward with us, that's fine. As far as schooling hours and how they're input in Flashpoint, they do have to be on a monthly basis. If you forgot to do your hours and end up wanting to do it all in December, you cannot put a lump sum in there and call it good. It does have to be 4 months of OJT in order to pass from 1 month to the next. Sorry, 1 semester to the next. For those that are registered in the Office of Apprenticeship Program through the Department of Labor, we're now state apprenticeship program, you are required to put your hours in at the moment you became registered with that program. It is required for you to put your monthly hours in every single month for your entire apprenticeship. It is not required for those students that are not registered with the Office of Apprenticeship to do that. So how do you know you're registered with the Office of Apprenticeship? You should have gone through an interview process and filled out paperwork. Terry and Mike do those calls, and they would have told you your OJT is required. But honestly, it takes 5 minutes of your month to enter hours. It's so easy to get it done. So we do recommend all students do it for their entire apprenticeship. It's required for those in the Office of Apprenticeship program to do it for their entire apprenticeship, and required for those students not to just do it for the semester that I require. I know that was confusing, but I promise if you just do it every month, you'll have no problem.
And that are overtime hours approved as part of the OJT?
So you may put overtime hours in your work reports. That's fine by us. The Department of Regulatory Agencies does state, in order for you to get your journeyman's license, that you have to have 8,000 hours and 4 years of apprenticeship. What that means is that you cannot get your 8,000 hours in 3.5 years. So DORA will not accept overtime hours if you don't have 4 years in the field. So again, 8,000 hours and 4 years. However, the work reports that you're filling out for IECRM can have the overtime hours. So we're at 6 o'clock. Are there any more questions? I just want to wrap this up to get you guys onto your weekend. If not, Holly, if you can go to the next slide and we can wrap this up. All right. Again, student handbook could be found in the email where this link to this meeting was. I had a link to the student handbook. Please feel free to peruse there. There's a calendar. So if you're planning vacations for the winter holiday, you want to see winter breaks, it's all in there for you. You can always email studenthelp@iecrm.org. If you have questions on your homework, quizzes, exam, and attendance questions, once you're in your class, that can all be addressed with your instructor. If you feel that something is incorrect, that needs to all be addressed with your instructor, as this office staff doesn't know if you were present for a class or if a homework assignment was turned in. And again, please opt in for text messaging. You can text IECRM to 38009. Next slide. And we ask that you follow us on social media. We're everywhere. And so we just want you to be in the know. We like to post things and share things with you as we have events and other great initiatives out there. So next slide. All right, we made it. Thank you all for attending. I really appreciate it. This is being recorded and we will send the recording out as well as the PowerPoint next week. Again, be on the lookout for the email for your classroom management system logins. And I hope you have a great school year. Good night. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Misty.